on. Here you have the soybeans going fairly sharply higher and the wheat market completely falling out of bed today. Interesting how they're going opposite each other. How does that happen anyway?
Yeah, the wheat market just not really able to find any traction. The chart has been looking pretty constructive, but a close below 830 today would kind of neutralize that bias. I think globally, we're just not there competitively as far as price goes. But as far as corn and soybeans catching a bit off the lows, that might be a little bit more to do with some of the outside markets. We've seen the equity market stabilize since the overnight session, now trading in positive territory. You've got crude oil, which is about $2 off the low as well. So some of these other outside markets are turning into positive territory, which may be helping overall money flow in commodities. Now, is that going to continue throughout the rest of today's session and through the week? That's a big question mark. A lot of analysts are keeping a very close eye on this week's Fed meeting out on Wednesday. Right now, the consensus is for a 75 basis point hike, but 1 full point isn't off the table yet. And if the Fed does surprise with a higher interest rate hike, that could lead to a bigger risk-off trade in commodities.
All right, so now longer term, when you look at the grain market here, yeah, we're going to have some active harvest activity, and we'll get an update from USDA this afternoon when it comes to crop progress and conditions and that sort of thing. But what do you see when you have to project out and kind of allow for a weaker tone here for a little while the combines roll? How much time are you allowing for that this year?
Well, yeah, seasonally, you get a little bit of weakness that creeps into the market with harvest starting to pick up, as you had mentioned. And there's actually a seasonal trend we're keeping a very close eye on for soybeans. The November contract, it starts September 17th, which happens to be on a Saturday, and ends on October 2nd. And for 13 out of the last 15 years, we've seen the soybean market trend lower during this time period. So near term, I think that we could see some seasonal weakness come in. And there's a lot of wild cards looking a little bit further down the timeline as well. Obviously, with corn, there was a wide variance between yield estimates. And so I think you could see the volatility and choppy trade continue until we get harvest a little closer towards 50%. So the market has a little bit more clarity about yield and overall production numbers in the States.